She should be back any second now with the trophy. So just hang tight. There she is.
Welcome to the Baer Show. We about to sit with an arrow. Got a lot of guns and I got a lot of questions. About to figure out every one of life's lessons.
Congratulations on being the champion
Thank
of
you, Steven.
Put her there.
It. Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can like put in the background because I want people to know and always remember.
Sure.
How's that look? Can you see that?
No, not really. I mean, I could just hold it.
That's the crazy thing. I said, maybe, give it a rest on the trophy. You don't need to bring it everywhere you go. But you were at the mic last night just firmly clutching it. How does it feel / what does it mean to be a champion?
I don't know. Even though the weight of my success is literally hurting my chest right now, that's how it feels.
It's a weight.
Yeah, it's a metaphorical and physical weight on your body.
I don't even know if I want that.
Yeah, it's a burden. That's how it feels now, I think.
Right.
I don't like that people are now like
respecting you.
Yeah, it's like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like I don't like being brought up that way because it's like pressure.
I feel like no matter how good you get, it's like you don't want to be brought up as someone who's like, he's one of the best joke tellers around, and then he's like, okay,
right.
And I always get brought up that way. It's like, all right, just maybe chill the fuck out.
Yeah, people do bring you up like that
all the time. It's like,
I've brought you up as a local favorite before.
Yeah, local favorites. We don't think he's good, but he's nice guy.
I kind of had no expectations going into it. Like my whole goal for this like contest season was just to get to the semifinals. So I was like, after that, I was like, okay, this is just like doing fun sets at Go Bananas.
Yeah.
It's just like stage time at Go Bananas at the end of the day. Yeah, it was just cool to do a set in front of a sold out crowd. Like I've never done stand up for that many people before. So that was really awesome. But yeah, as far as like going back into the trenches, it's like I think most people who have done comedy long enough like know that's the lay of the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's lots of peaks and valleys. So, I'm ready for it. But yeah, it is like yesterday, like set wasn't going, great. And it's like, this does kind of feel worse. And people are looking at you with that expectation of like, oh, this is the funniest person in Cincinnati.
Oh, we'll see about that.
I'm sure I inspired many people to try stand-up comedy last night. They were like, oh, this is the best. Like, I think especially as a woman in comedy, like sometimes you get on stage and like, you do have this feeling of like, if I fail, that means everyone's going to think all women aren't funny.
You got to represent for the whole squad.
If I bomb, I'm like, I just affirmed some like middle-aged man.
Yeah.
His biases.
So you're not only telling jokes, you're fighting the status quo.
Yeah, some would say I'm a leader of the modern day women's suffrage movement.
Yeah, modern day Susan B. Anthony.
That's right. Yeah. This is kind of her vibe, I think.
Well, why do you say that?
I don't know. I think if Susan B. Anthony were to be alive today, she would probably dress like this.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like she would want to be on the Baer Show.
Yeah. Also that though, of course.
Sure. Yeah. I'm a long documented ally of women at large.
And women know that, Steven.
Yes. Really? Cool. I like that. No, I actually used to talk about Susan B. Anthony
Did you?
I would give tours of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then we would get to the rotunda of the Capitol, and there's like, all like the busts of the women suffragists, and then there's one that's blank for the first woman president.
Woman winner of the funniest person in Cincinnati contest.
Yes. They're going to carve your face in there. And that's why they kept it open.
Yeah. See, that's my next step, I think, is to be the president of the United States.
Truly, you are a trailblazer. You were the first winner of the funniest person in Cincinnati that happens to be a woman.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's what all my friends have been saying. They're like, that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah, Don't worry about it.
That's
That's
okay.
okay. I feel like I can't like earnestly talk about it. It's simply a contest.
That I won. It's simply a
Yeah.
contest that I defeated all my foes in.
Yeah, that is something I haven't talked about. Is every other person that I was up against is my mortal enemy.
You're a Florentine.
I am a Florentine.
Tell me about the water tower.
Yeah, okay.
Tell
Let's
me about
get down
the
to
water
it.
tower, dude. I
Let's
don't
get
give a
on-
fuck
yeah.
about that shit. Let's talk about that tower.
So there is a water tower right off of I-75/71. They merge there. It is a water tower in our mall parking lot, and it reads Florence Y'all. And it used to say Florence Mall briefly, but then like people were having it, other businesses were having an issue with public money going to essentially advertise a private business with taxpayer money. And so they changed it, but they just changed one letter and added an apostrophe. So it says Florence Y'all. And it is iconic. We have a minor league baseball team that is named after the Florence Y'alls, and the mascot is the water tower. And
Allison is throwing out the first pitch.
yeah, I am. And I was
To open
actually
the season.
baptized in the Florence Y'all water tower,
Which
which is the holiest water.
and
So.
which is commonplace for any Florentine.
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean, beautiful things happen in that water tower. Spiritual things.
Really?
Things I don't really want to get into. Something
Okay.
you just have to, something you just have to see for yourself.
Okay. Sounds weird. Do you surprise people when you say you're from Kentucky because it sounds like you were raised at NPR?
Yeah, NPR Lexington. I don't know. I think kind of. I mean, my entire family lives in like South Central Kentucky. Like, I'm pretty familiar with like the depths of Kentucky, not just Northern Kentucky. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the accent. Both my parents do though, but they kind of like go in and out of it. Like my dad's a chemist and my mom's a librarian. Like, they always talked about like how they always felt like they had to be a lot more like articulate, like living in Cincinnati to be taken seriously. So I think I just always kind of took that to heart. But like, I don't know, like Kentucky's like full of people outside of the stereotype of like the South or Appalachia. Not that like those stereotypes are even necessarily like terrible things.
Some of them are a little unseemly.
I mean, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
the
uncouth.
racism. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the misogyny. Yeah. It's for sure there.
it sounds like you come from a family of intellectual hillbillies.
That is kind of how I would describe it. Yeah. Like, my mom grew up on like a tobacco farm, and my dad grew up just like on a little acre of land, just like pretty poor.
Yeah, I would like to hear him say like smart chemist things in his country accent.
Yeah, it is funny sometimes. I can't do a southern accent, which is actually crazy, but like the phenolphthalein just really wasn't turning pink like I wanted it to.
You were, maybe still are in some respects, a woman of science. Is that correct? Is that fair to say?
I have a background of being a woman in science.
Why'd you walk away from that?
It was boring as shit. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of is what it boils down to. I don't know. It might be something I get back into like later in life, but I just like can't do it currently. Not in alignment with what I want to be doing. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like another like office job,
Right.
really. Like, I mean, I was just at the computer all day, you know?
Yeah. So you had that joke yesterday, and we won't put this in if you don't want. But that's the sense of purpose. Is that what they were offering at the previous job?
That's what I've been promised my whole life through having like a job in like public health science, something that like helps people. I mean, it does genuinely, but well, I don't know. Sometimes it really, like, I worked in cancer prevention research, and like the number one predictor of cancer is like poverty. And it's just like, why are we spending so much money? Like, we know what
Right. It's like, how do we eradicate that?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
why am I still researching this? Like, we know time and time, not that there's not like more granular things to look into, but like time and time again, we find that like environmental contaminants, even like racial components that are usually due to like environmental contaminants and like housing and
like food deserts.
Yeah, that's for sure one. Yeah, access to the quality of food that you have, poverty, access to transportation, like, you know, it's just like improving the quality of life of people is how you prevent cancer. But, you know, it is just kind of like, why are we putting so much money into research when you could literally just put like $1,000 in someone's hands and that would change the course of their life to make, you know, financial decisions that would put them in a better place to not develop those. I think the way it's being done is kind of like just kind of in circles, a little redundant over and over. Yeah, I mean, there has to be structural change. Like there's no like one like cancer research center that's going to like change the world, you know, in terms of cancer. Yeah, I mean, towards the end, I was working like 55 hours a week and I'm like, this isn't sustainable, especially when I'm like, you know, really pursuing this other thing in my spare time, or like I have like aspirations to make this a career. Like, I don't know, it wasn't sustainable for me.
Do you still have a passion for public health? And do you find your comedy to be a useful replacement to modern medicine?
I do still feel passionate about public health. I think that's just because like I know about it. Like I think if anyone really knew about it, they would also feel passionately about it.
If they just get their head out of the sand.
Yeah, if they would just read a fucking book. How about that? But yeah, no, I don't read books. But I can't read actually. But it's such an embarrassing decision to make, like genuinely. Like it's something I'm like just now becoming honest with myself about, that like you're going to move away from doing public health stuff and you're going to do this self-indulgent like stand-up thing instead that like really contributes not nothing, but like,
do you feel those like outside opinions from people?
I mean, maybe, but in a way I like understand because you know, like I am like still very fresh into it, and I mean, who knows, in 3 years I might not want to do it anymore. Like,
yeah,
you know, I'm like open to that being a possibility, but you know, I think a lot of my friends are like, oh, this is like a cool hobby that you're like really into.
Yeah.
Like, even though I do, you know, most days of the week, I'm doing something stand-up related.
Breaking news.
I'm about to get kicked out of this apartment, guys. So this is, I'm breaking the news on your episode that they're trying to sell this place. There's an open house here on Sunday if anyone wants to come. I will have to.
Are they paying you to say this?
They're actually.
They're taking your money.
They're taking my money and making me not be here on Sunday. It's on sale, my place. So everything must go.
Including the tenant.
Vaccines. It just says vaccines ?
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I would definitely recommend like, I'm not a doctor. You know?
You're the closest that I'm going to get. So okay. I got a few questions I got to ask you.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I think overall vaccines good.
Okay.
I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot about vaccines because I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
And argue, does anyone? You know what I mean? No,
right. I mean, speaking of killing people, when was... like the vaccines do.
Sure.
Speaking of killing people, when was the first time you felt like you killed?
Probably like when I was first out of the womb, you know.
Really?
That's just, I just came out and I did a Dangerfield bit and everyone was like, this kid's got it.
A lot of people are saying you were a tattletale growing up.
I started that rumor, actually.
No, I mean, other people have been saying it.
Oh, yeah?
So maybe it came from you.
Who was it? I bet I know. And I'll say it right now.
Yeah, you're going to tattle on him.
Yeah. I bet it was Amelie Lease, wasn't it? You bitch. just a childhood friend.
Oh, okay. Can we put up that picture?
The last thing you see before I tattle on you at the Pampered Chef party.
Yes. Tell us about, she's on the screen right now. Tell us about this girl, this young woman. And what is she thinking? What is she struggling with? What can we do to help her?
Well, you can Venmo her at Allison-Stapp. Her allowance was taken away. It's really fucked up.
Is that why you're upset in that picture?
That's just like, that was just my expression. Like, I was a very serious child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, my parents always described me as like an adult since birth kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, though, I was just like really quiet. I mean, I was raised really religious, or I always just like felt a lot of like guilt and shame, I think. So I just didn't really like outwardly express a lot.
What denomination?
Southern Baptist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They're fun, right?
I don't know. The church I grew up in, it wasn't really about like hatred towards other people. It was more like you should feel so much hatred towards yourself.
So when are you gonna stop fucking running away from God?
That's what this turns into.
So why are you gonna stop just playing around with the devil?
There's an open house here Sunday, and you should open your heart to the Lord.
So you say that people say and think that you are an innocent person. But what are some things that you're actually guilty of?
What am I guilty of? Murder on the Go Bananas stage on October 3rd, 2023.
Could you name 3 things that you like about Mitch McConnell?
3 things that I like.
Be nice.
Yeah. I like how he deeply resembles a stress ball that you win from Chuck E. Cheese when you get 25 tickets and you squeeze it and the eyes pop out. I earnestly like that about him.
All right, there's one.
The man looks like he knows how to prepare the best tepid broth you've ever tasted in your life. I mean, that's probably his special. You know, that's likely all he can drink anymore or consume to get nutrients. So he knows what he's doing, you know,
all right,
in that regard. And also his political ideologies. Yeah.
Certainly those.
That too, yeah,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got my vote.
Well, guys, there you have it. Allison Stapp loves Mitch McConnell, and I think that is all right and cool. So give it up for her. You can watch her championship set in the bio. I'll put a link there. And go ahead, give her a subscribe. Give me a subscribe. Let me know how I did talking to a girl. Let me know if I should do it again or if I should just keep it to the fellas next time. No, but seriously, the pay gap. We gotta. Come on.